The over-under for regular season wins, 45.5, right? You ask me, that's easy money. That's easy money because I think the Knicks have the infrastructure. Why do you think they set it at 45.5?
I'm not sure, man. I mean, maybe they're trying to pencil in a little bit of a regression. Maybe they thought that the Knicks had maybe they overachieved a little bit last year. I don't necessarily see it that way, man. I thought the Brunson impact was real, and I think it'll continue to be that way with Brunson leading the way for this team. They have enough to win a ton of games. They have 2 All-Stars, and I'm calling Brunson an All-Star, even though he's not formally named that. I'm talking about caliber type of players. They have 2 All-Stars. They have Quickly playing at a six-man of the year level. Mitchell Robinson, what he's doing on the defensive end and their offensive rebounds. They have a ton of good rebounding guards from Josh Hart to DiVincenzo, Quickly, RJ. Grimes can go get you some boards. They have a nice backup 5 in Hartenstein who can play make as well. And as you said, they take care of the ball. They get to the free throw line. So they do a lot of things where if they can replicate it again, it translates to a lot of wins, especially in the East, because I don't think the East is relatively strong. Once the Harden thing and Philadelphia, once they separate, I think Philadelphia is going to come back to the pack. And so they should be able to rip off a couple of wins, a ton of wins, and I'm going over 45.5. I said 48. I'm going back to basically where they finished last year.
Yeah, I'm penciled in 47, 48. I think ceiling is 50 plus. I think teams like Cleveland, Cavs, they're the regular season built team where they have enough talent where they can sleepwalk to 50 wins. The Knicks are going to grind out every game. This is hell in the cell every night. Every night. And teams know it. And you may catch the teams that come into New York the night before. They're like, I ain't trying to get beat up. I ain't trying to have Mitch bump me and all of this. That's how the 90 Knicks was punishing people but everybody could take it. Everybody was a little stronger and more durable back then. And that was just the style of play. But when they instituted a style that had to be legislated out of the game, you knew it was going to be a long night. And they're bringing that mentality. Although 13th in defense. Maybe Vegas is saying their 3-point defense is regressing. It'll regress back. It's a make or miss league. Sometimes you make, sometimes you miss. We'll see how that goes. I'd say 40, even the 45.5, I have a personal vendetta with the hook because the hook catches me more often than not. I try to bob and weave, but that half, it'll catch me every once in a while. But I think barring injury, we got to put the caveat, big caveat. Barring injury in this East, which has gotten depowered because all of I feel like this is like the Empire. Like this is like a war where all your major factions have defected to the other side. Like we had the West for a few years, but the West is back. But I do think 46 plus should be for what this team has established over the last really 3 years. They've had the regression, they've had the overachievement. They've had the overachievement at least nationally, whereas people more locally saw that what the potential was to get that 5th seed, first round victory against the Cavs. We saw that. I don't think it's asking a lot to hit this over. I do not think so.
I don't think so. I don't see it, but still curious as to why there's a lot of bets on coming in on the under. So
it might be the Knicks tax. It's also might be the Knicks tax where you're like, I don't believe in them. We didn't believe in Brunson, but now we see that Brunson can supersede whatever Knicks cloud nationally that they have to be a bona fide star. Because you think about Julius Randle, it's almost like the dude who is nice on the court, but you never want to tell him because you just don't like him, you don't like his game, but you know he's nice, but you don't give him the recognition. That's what I feel like Julius Randle gets with national media. 2-time All-NBA, 2 All-Star in this period. There should be no contention about calling him a star in the league, but people call him a star butt because they don't like whatever. And that's on him, not so much to control the narrative because he can't really control it, but to show on the court that he does mean business, you know? So I do think they've established that infrastructure to where they should be able to supersede that. And even Bob Myers, he spoke about that, where the perception of the Knicks is now officially on the other side. I love being a fan of a boring offseason where there's no drama, where it's all about business, right? And this is where we are right now. They've turned the tide. You probably need a couple more years of consistency before that perception becomes everybody's reality, because New York is just a market where anything can happen. You know, as you know, we Giants fans, so you already know the Tyrod footsteps is gonna start stomping, especially they play the Jets.
Yeah.
The Tyrod footsteps are going to start stomping. So anything can happen here, right? But I do think the perception is changing, and maybe it translates to Vegas. Or maybe Vegas is saying this is where Vegas takes this is Vegas's version of the 10-leg parlay, the 15-leg parlay. Yo, let's just do 45.5. Let's see if we catch people on the over and they have an off season.